Hey everyone. Okay. All right, so it's 11 o'clock, so I'm going to start with the first session. This is going to be on pole vault specific strength exercises. Now, I'm sure by now you're all getting fed up of doing press ups, lunges, squats. So hopefully this will bring a bit of variety and also be a bit specific to pole vault. Now, before we start, I just want to stress the importance of form and posture during these exercises. It's not about trying to smash out 100 of these at a time. It's all about quality, not quantity. And the thing that I find useful in these exercises are really visualizing myself where I would find this exercise in the vault, especially because we can't pole vault at the minute. I think that's really important. Now, we're really lucky that my coach, Scott Simpson, who's been coaching me for 8 years, and has actually taught me every single one of these exercises, is also on the call. So while I'm doing the demonstrating, he's going to be narrating over the top, giving you advice, tips, things to avoid, and things like that. So thanks, Scott, for joining us. Lastly, before we start, you don't need to worry about missing an exercise or missing something important that Scott says, because I'm going to record this and I will make it available on Twitter and Instagram for you guys to watch back whenever. Cool, let's get going. Oh, one thing I forgot to say is you literally need no equipment. The only thing you might need is access to a sofa or something that might not move, just in case you find the exercise a little bit tricky. And also if you've got parent, guardian, sibling, someone who can lend a helping hand, that could actually be useful as well if you find the exercises challenging. Okay, so Scott, over to you.
All right, everybody, let's make a start. First exercise Holly's going to do today is called hip lift ups. We're going to show you a variety of progressions for each exercise, starting with the most simple and then obviously getting more complicated and more challenging as we go on. So Holly's going to do the first variation of hip lift ups with tucked legs. So from this position here, she's going to just gently roll her hips upwards, just a small amount, and then control back down to the floor. The idea is that you're doing a segmental roll up of the spine. So it's not a jerky movement. It's a really smooth, controlled roll up. So next progression, Holly's going to keep one of her legs straight and perform the same controlled segmental roll up of the lower back. Great. Next progression is a double leg variation. Again, controlled on the way up and controlled on the way back down. Perfectly demonstrated by Holly there with great leg tension and good form. You can make that a little bit more challenging once you've mastered it, guys, by adding on ankle weights. And then for all these exercises, just bear in mind your variables that you can control are the number of reps that you do or the time that you do it for and the number of sets that you do. Over to Holly.
The thing that I really like about this exercise is relentlessly for the past 6 months or a year, I've been working on in the jump, getting my hips above my shoulders. And this exercise I find really, really useful for that, because I can not only feel in the jump where that would happen, but also I've seen it transfer. So if you're trying to get your hips above your shoulders in the jump, which I mean, everyone should be, this one is really good for that.
Nice. Okay, let's move on to our second exercise. Guys, we would normally do this hanging onto the wall bars in the training center, but a sofa or something heavy that's not going to move will do absolutely fine. This is called ins and ups. And again, we're going to start with the easiest progression, which is going to be a tucked variation. So Holly starts from an extended position, like a dish, bends her legs and comes in and then rolls up to what we call a shoulder stand with her body straight at the top. Do one more, Holly. Straight body at the top and then back down. So our tucked variation is the first one that we do. Once you've mastered that, we're going to move on and do it with one leg straight. And Holly's going to do this with a pole vault shape to start with. So with her right leg up, because she's a right-hander. And then she's going to roll up. You can see a little bit of a turn at the top there as well, because she's starting to really think about pole vault and what this looks like. Excellent. Next progression in terms of physical demand. We are going to do a double leg variation. This is going to put more stress on the abdominals. It's really important when your feet get down close to the floor that you hold your abs strong and don't let your back arch and peel off the ground. So you're holding your abs really strong at the bottom of the range. Great form again from Hol there with brilliant leg tension. Again, if you want to make that more demanding again, guys, add on some little ankle weights if you've got them at home. and vary the reps and sets and the time that you do it for.
The reason why I really like this one is, again, I can really feel myself in the jump while I'm doing this. So sometimes I like close my eyes and feel myself rocking back and swinging. It is like a demanding exercise, especially because sometimes we'll do this without even the wall bar, so you really have to brace and stop your legs from coming down. But yeah, again, it's the feeling of rocking upside down, swinging, getting your hips above your shoulders, and that's why I really like it.
Great. Guys, a lot of these exercises have a trunk or an abdominal element, and the next one is no different. We're going to move on to hip pops. Holly's going to start in a front plank on her elbows to begin with. We're going to progress this as we go, but to start with, a front plank on her elbows. And then holding that nice plank shape, she's going to slowly lower her hips down towards the ground and then lift back up into a small dish shape. Okay, nice and controlled. And she's trying not to hinge at any point in her lower back. She's trying to make her back a nice smooth curve, hips down to the ground and back up, nice and controlled, not too fast. So that's our first progression, elbows, hip popping. The next progression, we're going to go on our hands this time and go from that hips down right the way through to a pike shape. Okay, so hips down to the ground and then pushing the hips up high into the air and pushing the chest in towards her knees. You can see that nice pike shape that she's making at the top. Great stuff. Next progression, she's going to pop her feet up onto the sofa. So she's got feet elevated this time, hands on the floor, and then the same idea. We go from hips down, nice smooth arch in the back, not breaking too much. You don't want to see a sharp angle in the back, pushing up into a deep pike position. So that's hip pops variation number 3. And then our fourth progression, which is the hardest, we're going to take one leg off of the sofa and do this with a single leg variation. Okay, so lift one foot up, and then that extends up into the air. It doesn't touch down. It just extends up into the air. Okay, and obviously you would want to do that on both legs. Okay, we only need a demo from Hol on one leg, but you get the idea, guys. With that last progression, guys, it's really important that you keep your pelvis stable and you don't drop on one side. You've got to maintain control during all of these exercises.
What I really like about this one is when I'm doing it, I feel like all the way from my fingertips to my feet, I'm braced, I'm strong, and that's really what position you're in when you're doing the swing. And also, you very rarely get a chance to think about or work on the pike or the bar clearance. It comes right at the end of your jump, and it seems like logically the last thing to work on. So this is a good time to do that.
Great stuff. Exercise number 4, guys, we're going to do is long body walkouts. Okay, we could, if you've got a lot of space out in the garden, you can do these continuously, moving along in sequence. But today, if we've got limited space in your living room, we're going to do them on the spot. So the first long body walkout, guys, we're going to do is the most simple. We're going to do it from a start position out to press up position or front support. And then we're going to walk back in, touch your toes, have a little hamstring stretch at the back. Nice. And then we walk back out again to front support position. Hold, and then walk it back in. So that's our basic progression, just going long body walkouts to press up position. Our next progression, we're going to do long body walks out to full extension. So we go past press up position, we keep walking, hold, and then walk it back in. Hamstring stretch at the back, and then we go out again. When Holly reaches full extension, guys, she's going to hold for about 2 seconds and not lose her lower back. You can see that she's holding a really strong shape at the end of the range. Okay, next progression, third one. Instead of walking her hands back in to her feet, this time once she reaches full extension, she's going to walk her feet to her hands. So we still hold for 2 seconds, great shape, and then we do little ankle walks all the way back up to her hands, little hamstring stretch. Turn around, Hol, go back the other way. So we go hamstring stretch, walking out with her hands, full extension, hold 2 seconds, bracing, and then ankle walks back in to meet her hands. Okay, final progression on long body walkouts. We're going to do a single leg variation, which is really tough, guys. So don't do this until you've mastered each of the previous progressions. But Hol is going to take 1 foot off the ground. She's going to walk out on a single leg to full extension, holding and bracing, not dropping that pelvis. And then she's going to walk back in. Give us one more on the other leg, Hol.
I'm not sure I've got another, but for you, I will.
Oh, she's gone the same leg. She's gone the same again. Okay, so full extension, not dropping the pelvis, and then she walks it back in. Guys, this is a tough exercise, but a great one. We've had a couple of questions coming in about how many reps and sets you need to figure this out for yourselves a little bit. What I would recommend to start with is just have a practice at each exercise and see maybe if you can do 5 of each. Then once you've mastered that, put them into a circuit. So you just do 1 set of 5 of each exercise and go around all of these exercises like a circuit. Once you've done that, then go around it twice. Then you can start to increase your reps and increase your sets. But anyway, sorry, Hold, back to long body walkouts. What are your thoughts on that one?
I really like this one. It just feels like a whole body workout. I'm generally not visualizing anything in the jump with this, but for me, what's really important is as soon as you take off, you're basically vulnerable. You're just like you've not got anything around you, so you need to be as solid as you can from your hands to your feet, embracing. And I think these exercises are really important for that.
Awesome. So let's move on to exercise number 5, everyone. This is going to be a variation on crawling activities. We use a lot of crawling in our training day to day, but we're just going to show you some dynamic crawling variations. All of these start from a bear crawl position. So Hol's going to demonstrate the bear crawl position to start with. So you have your hands flat on the floor and your shoulders directly above your hands and your toes pulled underneath. And then from there, you lift your knees off the ground just a little bit so your back stays flat with the ground. So that's our bear crawl position. So that's going to be our start position for these exercises. The first one we're going to do, and remember these are dynamic, these are quite tough, is Hol's going to jump from that position out, catch in a push-up position, and then walk back. So she jumps out, catches, and walks back. Give us one more, Hol. Jump out, catch, and walk back. You don't have to catch with straight arms, guys. You can cushion the landing and bend your arms a little bit. But it is important that you don't go so far in terms of jumping out that you collapse and fall down or lose your lower back. You've got to be strong when you catch these. Okay, next progression, we're going to reverse that. We're going to go same bear crawl position, but this time Hol's going to jump her feet backwards and catch in the press up position, then walk her feet back in. You can see when she lands in that press up position, she's rock solid. There's no breaking in the lower back. Okay. Last progression on dynamic movements with crawling variations. We're going to do laterals and medials. But with this progression, we take 1 foot off the ground. So Hol's going to go to bear crawl, lift 1 foot off. She hops sideways and then walks. So she's going to do 3 in one direction and then do 3 back. Always the foot goes first, guys. So you hop with the foot and then the hands catch up. Boom. So Holly did all of that on her left leg. If she was going to do it again, she would obviously repeat that on her right leg. And then you could increase the distance or the number of hops that you take if you want to make it more demanding. So those are our dynamic crawling variations.
Yeah, I think these ones in particular, for me personally, are about shoulder stability just as much as it is core. For me, I've had quite a few shoulder problems being a pole vaulter, so especially the jumping out ones, being able to brace and have my shoulders being stable, these really help that. And again, with the hit at takeoff, sometimes I try to take off far away, and I think sometimes I get caught close, and these exercises are really good for that, so my shoulder is kind of ready to take that.
Great stuff. Guys, the 6th and final exercise in our series today, we're going to do some variations on headstanding and handstanding. Now, a little kind of disclaimer to start with. You need to make sure that this is safe to do. If you're from a gymnastics background, great. But if you're not, you need to make sure there's plenty of space around the wall that you're going to be doing this on. Okay, so if you're practicing this at home live and doing this, maybe just watch this one and then practice it when you've got time to set it up. Hol's put a cushion on the floor, you can see here, because she's on a hardwood floor. She's going to use that for her head during the headstanding variations. And she's also going to have her husband, Paul, come in and spot her a little bit on these variations, just because it's really useful to have somebody helping you with this if you're not experienced. So the first thing we're going to do, guys, is a tucked headstand. So Hol's going to put her head on the cushion, and then just with her legs bent, just put her feet on the wall and making sure she puts lots of weight in her hands. You don't want to put too much weight on your neck during this exercise. So head on the cushion, weight in the hands, rest your body weight on the wall. Okay, so that's our tucked headstand to begin with. And we would do this for time. Start off just 5 seconds and then increase the amount of time that you do it for up to maybe a maximum of 30. Right, next progression, we're going to stay with the headstand, but this time Hol's going to walk her feet up the wall so that she goes to a straight body headstand. Okay, nice leg tension at the top of this. Still lots of weight in her hands, okay, but legs extended this time, and she's going to come back down. Right, those are our two headstands, tucked headstand and straight headstand. We're going to move on to a handstand, guys. Really important that if you're not experienced at this, your partner comes in now and helps spot this. We're going to start with a tucked handstand. Okay, before Hol goes, the key things with the handstand, guys, are that you keep your arms straight. You need your elbows to stay straight. Don't bend them, otherwise you'll bang your head on the floor. And that you keep your shoulder angle open. Okay, so Hol's going to go up to a bent leg handstand to begin with. So you can see her arms are straight, her shoulder angle is open, and she's got her legs bent and resting on the wall, and her partner spotted her there to begin with, just to get balanced. Okay, so that's our bent-legged handstand. And our final progression is our straight-legged handstand. Now you guys can do this as a walk up the wall. So once you've done your bent-legged handstand, you can walk your feet up the wall to a straight handstand. Holly's going to do it with just a kick up to handstand. So she's going to kick all the way up, feet on the wall. Partner comes in and spots. You can see again, arms are straight, shoulder angle is open, and she's got great body tension through her body. So that's our final progression for our straight-legged handstand. It's important that you don't arch your back, guys. Keep your abs braced like we have been with all our other exercises. And if you're from a gymnastics background and handstanding is easy for you, obviously eventually you can come off of the wall, you can do shoulder taps, you can do handstand push-ups, all that sort of stuff. But if you have any questions about any further progressions, Holly's happy to take kind of direct messages from you on those sorts of things. So that's it from me. Guys, stay safe, look after yourselves, but hopefully some of those ideas today give you some things to go away and practice and work on. Over to Hol.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for joining. I hope this has been really useful to you. Next week, I'll do another one on Friday, more about stretching. I think stretching for me is really important. As pole vaulters, we use the whole of our body. It's not just our legs, it's everything. So whole body stretching is something that I do pretty much every other day, if not every day. So if you can join us for that, that'd be really, really good. Like Scott said, if you have any questions on reps or sets or any progressions or any other exercises really, just drop me a message on Twitter or Instagram and I'll be happy to